otherwise.
Fell out of the womb, like just plopped onto the floor, and doctor was like, he's good. Send him on his way.
Welcome to another episode of News Notes, Slander, and Otherwise. Hey, Rob, how you doing?
I am doing very well. I got suckered into fucking fake spring in Kansas City again. We had dude, seriously, we had a blizzard yesterday. We had like an actual blizzard yesterday that's already melted. And I put my like heavy coat away on Saturday because it was like 70 out. I was like, we're good. I don't need this anymore. We'll be fine. And then on like Monday night, Deb was like, hey, did you see we're supposed to get a blizzard on Tuesday night? And I was like, we're supposed to get a fucking what now? And sure enough, like we got like 3 inches of snow and like whiteout conditions for like 6 hours. Now it's just all melted.
Yeah, it was beautiful here last week. It was like in the 80s, and now it's cold again, you know?
Yeah, same here. Dude, there's certain benefits to the earth being like irretrievably broken. And like this nice February weather was definitely part of it. I was like, dude, it's Valentine's Day and I want to put shorts on. This is fantastic.
Well, what have you been up to? Because we haven't spoken a while. It's been a crazy couple months.
Well, your state caught on fire. So that was a bit of a stopping measure. Let's see. Not much. I started going to therapy, of all things, actually.
Is that
which is weird?
Where your comics came from? Because you have a couple new things that you've been working on. You've been drawing, painting, and
I have.
You started a comic strip. Tell me more.
So here's the thing. I don't know. Like I don't. And like the very first time we ever talked, it goes into that kind of wheelhouse of like talking about art to me is super pretentious. Like it is the most. So like I feel uber pretentious when I talk about it that I. Because that's just who I am. It's not like a chicken or egg thing. I think they're kind of like independent from one another, but I do think that they kind of run side by side, if that makes sense at all. No, the comics are honestly just a way for me to tell long form jokes without being super long winded. Like I just think it works really well for kind of some of the style of humor that I like, of like lull you into like this really like dumb, seemingly innocuous thing, and then just like hit it with like a whole bunch of like random absurdity. Like as I just kicked my computer cord out, like the one with the park benches, and that actually holds some truth to reality. So in my neighborhood, and I love my neighborhood, we had a whole bunch of park benches right by the library. There were these not super comfortable, but just like your standard iron park benches that people could sit and relax on. And a lot of times the unhoused population of the city would sit and relax on them, take a nice street nap, whatever they need to do. You know, fucking shoot some heroin. I don't know. And what the city decided was that as opposed to, you know, looking at a problem and saying, hey, there's people in these neighborhoods who are using these benches for things that, well, technically, yeah, there's not like a rule for what isn't for benches, but they're making quote unquote things worse. And so instead of saying, hey, how do we help people and alleviate these problems in society of how to help people who are marginalized, help people who are unhoused, help people with mental illness, help people who have drug addiction. Instead of doing that, they went, fuck this. It'll be so much easier to just get rid of all the benches and punish everyone for this. So instead of like society being like, well, maybe we can do something to help people. It's like, no. It is so much cheaper and so much easier just to punish everybody and take these things away from us. Because honestly, we don't fucking say shit about it. That it made me make this little cartoon. I think I sent it to you, and sure we can use internet magic to plug it in.
Can I pull it up?
Please do. And it's just stupid stick figure drawings. It's, you know, I think I pretentiously said that I use stick figures because it allows the reader to impart their own personage or whatever bullshit I spewed about, you know, inserting themselves into things and being able to see themselves in art, blah, 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 blah. But to me, it's honestly just because I can't draw people worth shit. Like I can't draw hands and I can't draw faces. So instead, I just kind of make these stupid little comics. But I also find the stick figures like just kind of inherently really funny because you can do these stupid things with the eyes and the faces that wind up just looking kind of absurd, and that I think that's funny. It's like this one. It's like
they're very funny. The way that you capture like the look of either disgust or stupidity or whatever on their faces is great, even with just like stick figures. But this I wanted to show everybody.
That look is a look of disdain, and that's like 80% of my day when I have to like leave my house and go out into the world. Like I just look at people like this. What's wrong with you?
So this is
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
this is the park bench one, right? Bench pressure.
Bench pressure.
Love the
Yeah. There's
play on
there's no
words there.
like. It is. It's a. I used words to my advantage. Well, no, but it's not. Like I don't have like a title for him. Bench pressure is just a stupid play on words they came up with, so it's not like the name of the comic or anything.
Right. That's just for this story. And it goes to the right. Right? You read it from left to right?
Sure. Here's the thing. Yeah, I guess for this one, I guess it should technically go. Let me grab my fancy art notebook, and I'm going to look at it too. There we go.
Can you not see it on the screen?
No, I can. It's just easier for me to see the whole as we're talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that, everyone always gets, it's like, along with the whole, like, let's fucking punish everybody because of society's ills, there's also this, God, once again, it sounds so fucking pretentious. It's a rebuke of this bullshit notion of, back in my day, things were better. Well, you know what? If things were that much fucking better, maybe you guys, the older generations would have fought a little more to keep them better, as opposed to just settling for indignity after indignity after indignity and complaining about it for fucking 40 years and then wind up in the mess we're in now. And it's also part of just a really deep frustration with me for people just sitting down and accepting the fucking without any loop. Well, no, it's not even complaining. It's accepting the fucking without even like a single spit of lube. Like it's just bend over, take it, and this is what you guys get, because why should we help anybody? It's so much easier to punish everybody. We'll do that instead.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same thing here. Like with the unhoused population, it's insane because all the benches here have spacers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can't lay down. Same thing. I think they did it in New York City too. But it's just like, come on, man. Like, who cares? Nobody's using that bench at 2:00 in the morning. Like, let them fucking sleep. I don't know. It's just
but that would require empathy, and that's in very short supply in where we live now. It's sad. It really is. Like, and like, I even think that there's this wistfulness of like I remember talking to someone who was much older. He was a retired police officer who I knew, and he basically
was a retarded police officer.
Retired. RETIRED. He was a retired police officer.
You're not too far off, but
sure. When he was a retired police officer, and I remember him telling me this story where he was like, back in my day, we used to arrest this hobo like once a week. He was a known homeless person in the area we lived, and he was a hell of a cook. So we would just go and we'd bust him on the weekends, and we'd throw him in the drunk tank, and that'd be on Friday. And we'd go to the grocery store Saturday morning, and we'd keep him there till Monday, because that's when the judge was there. The entire time he just cook us all these. I was like, this is the most disgusting fucking story I've ever heard. Like, you didn't help this person. You just had this person come in and make you tasty victuals, and all I can imagine is like 5 cops sitting around a box with like a single bean on top of it, just fucking sawing it into pieces. And but it's so indicative of just this idea of like, well, we could help people, but we're gonna punish them instead because it'll make our lives a little like minusculely better. And I don't know.
Right,
it's a way that I find kind of disgusting.
Let's let the artwork speak for itself, okay? Do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it?
You can read it, because I feel awkward reading it.
All right. Bench pressure. Excuse me, miss. Do you have the time? And then I go this way, right?
And I'm going to give commentary on this while you're reading this. So here's the funny thing. I like to sit on park benches and read quite a bit, because it's a fantastic way to spend a sunny day. The amount of people who find it completely acceptable to walk up to you when you're reading a book in a public place and be like, "What you reading?" It's just fucking staggering to me. Like, if someone's reading a book, leave them the fuck alone. Like, unless they're about to be attacked by a bear, stung by a bee, or I don't know, like the Klan is coming. Like, just leave them alone. Just leave me alone. The Klan isn't a good example.
I met your mom on a park bench just like this. So I'm assuming dad and son, daughter eating ice cream cone, brought them to the park to, hey, obviously the bench is in the same place, so they have the same view. It brings back some sense of nostalgia for this gentleman, and he wants to share it with his child, right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I also happen to like the way that the guy there is man spread. Like, I really feel like I captured that like way that that obnoxious dudes like to sit in public with just, arms out, legs spread, and just tiny cock dangling in between the legs.
I miss him so much. There were so many stories he still had to tell me. I miss him too. Did he ever tell you the one about how he met Grandma and the dumb excuse he used to, as he put it, get a chance to talk to the prettiest girl ever saw on a park bench? I totally butchered that. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, see, like, and this is like, for me, like, this is like park benches and shit like this. And one of the things that I really am trying to find in this world is community, because we've sacrificed community for so much. But we're talking about something I made. So when we do these things,
I'm assuming that the guy from the last panel, this is the son from that panel.
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
So he lost his dad, and he's like, he had so many stories to tell me. And then the other one, I guess, mom or sibling is saying, oh, did he ever tell you how I met Grandma? And the dumb excuse he used to get a chance to talk to the prettiest girl he ever saw on a park bench. So that's kind of like...
Also, the person saying, I miss him too, is the person who said, you know how I met your... Or is the little kid eating ice cream in the second panel.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Like,
Yep.
that's the grandpa and dad and son, son, girlfriend for the next one, yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, if you think about park benches too, it's like, if you really drill down, it's cool because how many people have sat there? How many people have met there? How many people have read
Absolutely
and gotten taken away by amazing books there, taken in the view, seen sunsets? Like, park benches are cool. They're way cooler,
dude,
below the
have
surface.
you ever heard?
And...
I think it's called the Purple Bench Project. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I have not.
So basically, what is it's? I wish there was some in Kansas City, 'cause it's actually really cool. So basically, what it is, and I'm going to paraphrase a whole bunch on this, so bear with me. Basically, it's what's the best way to put this? It's a purple bench, or it's purple or pink? I think it's purple. And if you're sitting at it, what it means is that you're open to have someone come sit next to you and have a chat. You're there. It's like saying, I'm here to make friends. I'm here to have an experience. Come on, say hi. And I think that's fucking fantastic. And as we take those things away, we're also taking away our own community.
Yeah, because that's also like in the world of AirPods and headphones, and like everybody has their headphones on and nobody's open to
Absolutely.
communication or a serendipitous meeting. You know what I mean? So purple park
keep in
benches
mind,
are cool.
I usually don't want to talk to people. I don't care for a lot of people because people tend to be annoying. But when you're in the mood to, it's not that people are annoying. It's that I want the community that I want. I don't want just like any stupid community. That's how you wind up fucking like in the Aryan Brotherhood. It's not prison. Like we don't have to accept community because it offers us protection. It's, I want community that says like, hey, like let's fucking do awesome shit and be proud of each other and encourage each other. And, it doesn't have to be something. That's kind of what bothers me, is that there's this, I make fun of pickleball a lot, and like, but fucking dude, pickleball people have a community. It's a community I don't want any part of, but it's community. But we don't have to have things be a thing in order to have community. Like we can just sit on a fucking park bench and say hi to somebody if you want to talk to them. I don't want to talk to them.
All right, so already 3 panels, we have a little bit of history with this bench. Let's see what happens. All right. This has been such a nice date. A great dinner followed by a walk in the park. Yeah, this is a special spot for me. This is where my grandparents met. Cool. So now we have another generation here meeting at the bench.
Yeah.
Or absorbing the history and the love of the bench.
You know your family's history. Like, the things that occurred to make you possible. Like, I guarantee that you have a general outline of how your parents met, of grandparents. Well, actually, I know for a fact that you have a lot of information on how you came to be. And as we get rid of these things in the community, we also erase our own histories. We don't do a very good job of saying, hey, these are things that we should keep because they're important to all of us. We go, this is mildly inconveniencing some of us, and we're just going to fucking punish everybody. But, hey, why fix problems later?
Final panel. All right. I'm tired. Can we sit down somewhere, Grandpa? There used to be, but we decided it was easier and cheaper to punish everyone and just take all the park benches away than it was to help the unhoused or in crisis who dared to sleep on them. Now hurry along. This park has a paid toilet. We can rest up for a bit.
So I got to tell you, I had this concept in my head for like several days, and I couldn't figure it. Like I couldn't figure out how it worked. Like I knew the beats I wanted to hit, but I couldn't find the right thing. And the fucking pay toilet. The pay toilet right there. I was like, put a quarter and take a shit. It's you're on the clock. Like there's a timer, but the pay toilet was really what kind of punched in for me. Fun fact, do you know that pay toilets up until like the 70s were like a real thing? It wasn't until like the mid 70s when people protested and were like, we deserve a place to pee, that pay toilets stopped being a thing. But once again, pay toilets are still a thing because I can't walk into a fucking store and go, excuse me, can I use the restroom, without them going, I'm sorry, you need to buy a coffee first.
Yeah.
Because, why should you be able to pee? I did pee, dude. I peed in a McDonald's in New York, and I lied to someone. Like, full on what? I lied to the girl at McDonald's. I know, it was scandalous. I lied to the girl at McDonald's because I had to pee so bad. I'd walked from Grand Central down to the Village, and like I got down to like fucking the Flatiron Building, and I was like, I'm gonna piss my pants. And I was like, the only public restroom that was around that I knew about was actually closed up for maintenance or whatever. And Deb was like, well, there's a McDonald's over there. And I was like, they're not going to let us traipse on in. We're going to have to get something. She's like, well, we'll get a cheeseburger. So we go in. This girl's like, oh, hey, how are you today? Like, she greeted us all happily. And I was like, you work at a McDonald's off of like Fifth Ave in New York. How on earth are you this chipper? But anyway, she goes, can I help you with anything today? As she's standing in front of the giant bank of electronic kiosks that you're supposed to order from. She's, can I help you? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to order some food in a minute. First, I have to pee. And she was like, the code to the bathroom is like blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I went upstairs and peed and then left without buying it.
Sometimes I'll say, hey, I was just in here.
Fucking rebellion.
I have to use the restroom before I leave. You mind? And then they're like, yeah, fine. But no, Germany, I think in Germany and Europe, they still have pay toilets. And when you're crossing back over the border from Mexico, if you're waiting in line for 8 hours to get back over, if you get out and go into the little like makeshift town that they made, like along the highway border entrance, you just give them a couple pesos and they let you in. They give you a little handful of toilet paper and you go and use the restroom. So yeah, it's still a thing.
They give you a handful of toilet paper?
Yeah, they give you like 2 sheets of toilet paper, and you go in between this little alley and there's these like makeshift restrooms.
This does not sound safe or sanitary, to be honest with you.
I mean, when you're waiting in line to get back into America, and you got to pee, it's perfectly fine. It's not bad at all either. So it's pretty clean.
Here is a non-exhaustive list of the weirdest places I've peed. I peed in a Sobe bottle while driving a car once, so I was stuck in traffic and I had to pee so bad.
Sobe bottles had the perfect width.
They did, but just to get like the tip of the head so you didn't pee everywhere, because that's all I could fit in there.
That's what
I mean. Remember Sobe? Dude,
yeah, I love Sobe. Do you remember that
Sobe was, but you remember that it was from Norwalk, right? It was from our hometown.
Yeah. Yes,
and
South Norwalk.
There was like the original like 5 flavors, and I have a question for you. Which one was the best with vodka? The answer is the fruit punch one.
Fruit punch. I was saying it.
I told you, dude, the fruit punch one was, I remember mixing, like, when I worked at a video store that sold those, and this is like when Sobe's very first came out, like the actual owners would come in and be like, hey guys, selling those fruit punches, here's another case. I'd be like, gonna mix it with vodka for my high school friends, and just get fucking hammered in the field. Anyway, weird places I've peed. In the field. Definitely. In a hamper. Whose hamper? I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Wait, can we go back to Sobe again? The green teas were bomb. The green tea one was awesome.
I had been chasing the dragon of the taste of their green tea for like 20-something years.
I don't know what it is.
Dude, as soon as they changed out of the glass bottles, it all went to hell.
That's when they kind of disappeared.
Sobe was better than Snapple. And you couldn't do the annoying thing that dickheads like to do with the Snapple tops, where you dent them a little bit and then make them click really loud.
Click, click, click.
Like,
yep.
Like you were some like old-timey headmistress at a school, like, click, click. Stand, children. Click, click. Sit down, children. Click, click. Just fucking, God, people were terrible. Yeah, Sobe was delicious. And then I think they own vitamin water now, which I thought here's things I thought was good for me. I thought that not only, like, I knew that Sobe was bad for me, because anything that says fruit punch is obviously not good for you. I remember when vitamin water first came out, I was like, it has vitamins. This is good for you. And I remember specifically waking up, like I'd wake up hungover and be like, oh, I feel terrible. This is why I'm glad I don't drink anymore. I'd be like, I don't feel good. I feel terrible. I'll get a Sobe XXX and that'll bring me back. And what I realize now is that vitamin water was doing, it was just giving me a shit ton of sugar. Like, that's what made me feel better. It wasn't the fact that it had like vitamins or nutrients in it. It was like, hey, here's a cup and a half of sugar dissolved into some purple liquid and a berry flavor. Have fun, fuckface.
Oh, there it is.
But
Sobe Tsunami.
God, it was so good.
Tsunamis. These were the originals, right? Oh, the mango melon. No, that wasn't mango melon.
No,
that was like carrot juice.
Those like light, almost
these are,
pastel
like,
colored
new.
ones. Well, no, the pastel colored ones were like the second generation. It was
Yeah, the originals
even these
were these, right? No.
Yeah, dude. I just pointed at my phone, like you could see it with my glasses. That was really sad.
Oh,
Some
here's the
boomer
green
shit
tea. Sobe green tea elixir.
Yeah, the elixir. God, that stuff was good. It didn't have like too much of a green tea flavor, and it wasn't too sweet. It wasn't too light.
Yeah, it was like I don't know. It was like a little bit of. It was like honey, like fake honey flavor. I don't know.
It almost
And
tasted
this
like
one
you
was
dissolved.
bomb too.
Which
this
one was
one
that?
Bomb. The Sobe lean, but it was like citrus flavored.
Did it have cough syrup in it?
No, not lean. And then the orange one, the original
is
orange
fantastic.
The original orange was carrot. This one was actually really good. It sounded disgusting.
I remember that, yeah.
But it was pretty good. It was more orangey than carrot. But fuck, man, I miss Sobe.
Sobeys were so delicious. Yeah, and then they just ruined their own brand. Like, they just, I don't know. Stick with like the 5 or 6 things you do well. Dude, do you have Dunkin'? Where do you go for coffee and where you live, out of curiosity?
There's so many like independent places that we have like 3 or 4 different ones that we go to depending on what we want. They're just like little family owned.
So I like coffee a lot. I drink a ton of coffee. And here's my problem in Kansas City recently. I love Dunkin' Donuts. It's the East Coaster in me. There's something about an extra large black Dunkin' with 3 sugars that is just chef's kiss good. And it costs like $3 for like a massive cup of coffee. You know, you're getting like an igloo cooler full of Joe for $3 and change. And when I go to a regular coffee shop, dude, I paid fucking $8 for a cup of black coffee. That like I don't look at prices when I go to a coffee shop. I go, can I get a large black coffee? Because all I was for large black coffee. I paid $8 fucking for a large black coffee recently. And here's the thing: the coffee house has a really great mission. They're about having people with developmental disabilities work at the shop, people with special needs. So it's a really great, really inclusive place, and fucking A+ for all of that. But I spent $8 fucking on a cup of coffee. $8 for 16 ounces. 16 ounces of coffee. That means I paid 50 cents per ounce of coffee. That is fucking absurd. That is absolute goddamn lunacy. Dude, that's crack prices.
Right, but you shouldn't have to. And that's what's fucked up is the big corporations, they're able to sell you that big old cup of coffee for $3 because they're a big corporation. The little mom and pop shops have to charge so much more money just to stay in business because of rent, because of cost of doing business, labor, and the way that they get taxed is insane. So like it sucks that in order to support small businesses, you got to pay more. But at the same time, they get fucked.
No,
they don't get tax cuts. They don't get huge tax breaks because they're a big corporation. Like they don't have their hands in pots that the government wants a cut of. You know what I mean?
No, and I do completely agree with that. And I guess part of my stink about it is that there's, how do I put this? Modern coffee shops are not for me. Like I'm not the modern coffee shop demographic. I don't tend to sit in coffee shops. It's just not really something I enjoy really. Mostly because the people who do like to sit in coffee shops tend to like put the capital P in pretentious. Like I'm never going to be the person who's like, let me work on my screenplay in the coffee shop. Look at me. I'm typing on my coffee. I'm typing. Is anyone watching me? Do you want to read my script? Like that's what I always feel like anyone who's on a laptop in a coffee house is doing, even though I know that's not true. It's just fun to think about that way. But like the coffee sweet spot for me is a diner. Like that's coffee. Like just an unlimited, like $2. They pour it in the white cup that's stained brown on the inside. There's a weird lipstick stain that won't come off no matter how many times it gets washed. The waitress just walks over regardless of how full it is and just bloop, drips a whole bunch in. Bloop, drips more coffee. I didn't even say yes or no. She just bloop, drips more in. More cup. Bloop, it's overflowing off the sides of the cup. Bloop, more coffee. And it's like $2 fucking. Now I get that they're selling other things for a much higher value, so coffee is expendable at that point. But what if, hear me out, what if modern coffee shops, instead of focusing on like all these like absurd drinks, like Starbucks isn't a coffee shop anymore. Like this isn't a hot take. This is a boring take. Starbucks is an adult candy shop. I think we've actually talked about this before. all those like super sugary, like Frappuccino, blah, 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 blahs. Like those aren't coffee drinks. Those are sweet drinks, soda that has a coffee flavor to it. What if like I want to start a small independent coffee shop where it's like, hey, you can come in here, you can get a really good cup of coffee. You can get like these 10 other things. Like you can get these 10 things. And they're going to be really good. As opposed to like, hey, we can make 75 different coffee drinks that are all mediocre in quality. So you have to wait in line for like 45 minutes. It's going to be really expensive. The cups are going to be cheap. Like the experience of doing anything, I don't know. It gets so frustrating for me of just, I don't know. It's fucking annoying.
I mean, I worked at Starbucks almost 20 something plus years ago. And that's what they used to be about, was the experience, the coffee shop community experience. And then the Frappuccino madness took over and they completely changed. And that's why I left, because it was like, it used to be about, hey, come get a really good cup of coffee, drip coffee, whatever, not even a latte. Like we had lattes, but like even then we didn't put anything in it. We made you a latte and you went to the condiment bar and made your own shit. We had a couple flavors, but it was like, come hang out with us. We'll talk to you about the coffee you're drinking. We'll tell you where it's from, what kind of floral notes you're going to be getting in there. We're going to talk to you about how much we worked with the farmers to get the quality coffee bean. Like we used to have coffee seminars on like, hey, these are the coffees we're carrying this week. And we would invite people to them and have coffee tastings. And it was like, it was a community. People would come in, they would hang out with their laptops. I would go around when I was, cleaning up the cafe and talk to everybody. I'd help them with their computers. Hey, I can't get the Wi-Fi. My email's not working, whatever. But like, it was so much different.
Those places just, it's not even soulless. It's the welcome to Costco, I love you. It's just, I don't know. I go into Starbucks and like, what would you like the Park Place? Would you like the medium? I'm like, does it fucking matter? Like, seriously, like, tell me what these coffees taste like, and I'll give you $1. If you can tell me the actual difference, well, this one's darker. The fuck does that mean?
See, I could tell you the difference. That's the thing. Like, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of learning. I did a lot of like coffee tastings where I can definitely tell you, like when I go to the grocery store and buy coffee, like I'm looking at the package and seeing where it's from, where it's sourced from. Like I do my research when it comes to buying coffee, but the kids now at Starbucks wouldn't be able to tell you that. I don't think.
Where I get my coffee?
Too.
I get my coffee.
D&D.
I get my ginormous bin of D&D from Sam's Club. That's it. That's all I need.
Sometimes I want a fucking 7-Eleven coffee. I just want to go to 7-Eleven, pay my $1 and get a cup of fucking shitty coffee. Sometimes that's what I'm in the mood for.
I love there's certain shitty gas station coffee that I love. And when Green Mountain coffee was still around, Green Mountain used to make a delicious cup of coffee.
They were good.
Okay, so this is right in the same ballpark for this conversation. Deb and I went to go see Mark Maron 2 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Funny as shit.
Lucky, one of my favorites.
Dude, he was so good. Actually, Deb, when I showed Deb the cartoon of the bench, she goes, "That's a very Mark Maron cartoon," and I was like, "You stole my heart." But no, so before the show, we actually went and grabbed a drink first. Because if I like, I don't really drink anymore, but I'll have like a drink or two here or there. I'm old; it doesn't agree with me anymore. But if I do drink, I'm just a fancy bitch now. Like I'm getting myself a gin martini because I love a good gin martini, and I'm pretty specific about like how I want my shit made. Like I want Hendrick's gin. I want you to take vermouth, pour it into a chilled martini glass, swirl it around, and throw the rest out. Like that's it. That's all I need to do. Swirl it, throw the rest. Oh shit! I just threw hot chocolate all over the place.
So slightly dirty.
Yeah, like a slight bit of vermouth, ice cold gin, stirred, not shaken, and a what do you call it? Lemon, not wedge.
Rind.
Lemon rind. Thank you. Lemon rind. Lemon peel. Yeah, that's all I want. So we go to this we go to this fancy cocktail lounge, and it's like the whole coffee thing and the whole like fancy cocktail lounge thing really goes hand in hand, because when you want something that's just a regular fucking drink, I don't need presentation. I just want my drink. And the last, like, I don't want to do when I ask for a cocktail is I don't want to sit there and watch you as the bartender put that fucking look on your face as you're like,
yeah.
If you're impressed by fucking flair bartending, you are simpler than the dog staring at the can opener. Fucking Tom Cruise came out with Cocktail in like 1986, and you're still like, holy shit, look at him throw that bottle up in the air. did he just spin a glass and catch it? Holy shit, this guy should be in the circus. It's
Well,
the
that's the
same
funny
thing
part
as like
is
coffee places.
it is, and that's what you're paying for. When I walk
Eh?
into a place and I see them doing all that shit, I'm like, oh fuck, this drink's gonna be $18. I'm like, fuck, like, oh
Okay, yeah.
hell
So,
no.
dude, so we go into this bar. It's actually like 2 blocks from our house. It's supposed to be a modern speakeasy, which is just a fancy word for saying our door is hard to find. And we go in there, and I order my very simple drink. First off, it got delivered to me in a dirty glass. And, I don't want to be a full boomer, but, give me clean glassware. The drink was fucking
Especially
terrible.
for a martini, you need it. That glass needs to be fucking sparkly.
Not only that, it was a plastic glass. It was one of those like unbreakable glasses, which I'm going to be honest with you. When I see those like advertised as like
I would have
unbreakable
given
glass,
it back.
Dude, I want to pick up those. When I get handed one of those unbreakable glasses, you have no idea every part of me, every intrusive thought that I can ever possibly have just boiling to the surface of myself. And all I want to do is take that glass and throw it against the nearest wall as hard as I can. And if it doesn't break, fine and dandy. But if it does, I want to be like, I want a refund.
Well, here's the thing. That bartender just went through all of that rigmarole to make it look nice and fancy and to show off for you. And he pours it into a plastic cup?
Dirty plastic cup that wasn't even chilled. It was, and like, here's the thing.
You can't fill a plastic cup.
No, you can't. And I find cocktail culture to be fucking ridiculous to begin with. And I like a good cocktail, but it's fucking ridiculous. Mostly because, like, if you think art is pretentious when you talk about it, go watch some guy with a handlebar mustache, sleeve tattoos, wearing a vest and a bow tie be like, watch me make your old fashioned. These are homemade bitters infused with apricot. And it's like, give me a fucking drink, man. Like, how much is this going to cost? $27 for an old fashioned? Why is it served in a candle holder? These are things dude, no joke. I went to a bar once, and it was noted as one of is when we very first moved back to Kansas City. It was my least favorite place I've ever been. It was called Manifesto, which, here's the thing, like, if you're going to call something Manifesto, I really think there needs to be an edge to it. Like, you can't have Manifesto be like a docile, quiet place. Like, when I hear, oh, we're going to go to Manifesto, I'm thinking like, oh, cool. Like, we're going to get a typewriter and we're going to go to a cabin in the woods and see what happens and fight the government. I don't think of Manifesto as like, hi, do you have reservations this evening? So we went in there and I ordered a drink, and I'll never forget. It was made, and I ordered it almost more out of like a morbid curiosity because it had like Jameson, Jägermeister, egg white, and I don't know, like fucking glitter mixed in. And it was like $20-something. And when it came out, it actually came out like in a votive candle holder. Like, it was like a long stem and like a little tiny glass holding about like 2 shots of booze in it. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is the worst place I've ever been in my entire life. Like, this just makes me sad.
I'm still stuck on the egg white.
So if you put egg white in a cocktail, like, it makes it frothy because frothy is something that's important and like gives it like,
yeah, but what is this, the
mouthfeel?
1950s? This is like that's what they use in like the 50s. Everything called for egg whites, frothed egg whites.
Oh, dude, it was the worst place ever. They gave us the whole spiel when we first went in. They were like, hi, welcome to Manifesto. We don't like to allow the use of cell phone lights in here. So if you have a problem reading our menu, call a waitress over and we'll help you. And I was like, what if I just want to read the menu on my own? Can I get a light to use? Can we turn just a little bit? They're like, no, we'll come help you. We're a cell phone free environment. I'm fine with cell phone free, but you have to make it so I can read the fucking menu. But then I remember I went into the bathroom and they had a sign above a hole in the wall. This was the stupidest fucking thing that said like a bullet hole from when the gangsters had a shootout in Prohibition. I was like, one bullet hole. One, really? Like, you stole this bit from Shameless, shit, fucking ding-dongs. It was so bad, but they were like, hey, so once you come in, if you see anyone who's knocking on the door to come in, please don't let them in, because, we have a strict occupancy. And it wasn't like strict occupancy, like the fire code is going to get hit. It was like, no, we only allow 10 people at a time so that the people waiting outside can feel like shit because they're not cool enough to come in and drink our fancy cocktails. So I see this, I use the bathroom, I look at the door, and there's this guy standing at the door knocking. And right away I can tell this is a guy that I wouldn't be friends with. So I just kind of looked at him, and for once in my life, I was a rule follower, and I was like, sorry, they said I can't open the door. And the guy started yelling at me, and I was like, well, now I'm definitely not going to open the door, fucking prick. So I go back to drink my drink, And I'm like, I'm leaving. I looked at my friends and I was like, I got to get out of here. I was like, this is my hell. Like, I'm pretty sure I died on the way over here. And this is just my waiting room before Satan brings me into his office. And so I go outside and the guy is still standing there with like this girl. And he's like, thanks for letting me in. And I was like, there's rules. Like, I suddenly became like very indignant about the rules. But the funniest part is, so we get like this screaming match about how I wouldn't let him in. And I'll never forget, he was wearing like just khaki pants, tucked in like sky blue shirt, no t-shirt underneath, like open down to here. And he just had the look of a white supremacist. You know, it's hard to know, but like, you know it when you see it. And I was like, this guy looks like a white supremacist. So I wound up yelling at him, I hope you enjoyed your time in Charlottesville. This is right after the Charlottesville riots. And he was like, and he didn't respond to that at all. Like, he was like, I'm calling him a white supremacist. And he was like, whatevs.
He probably didn't get it.
But then I remember, this is the best part. He had on like, you know how like guys will like that whole like wear like the brown loafers with no shoes on thing, which I don't know, shoes without socks is gross.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is weird because your feet get all sweaty and those shoes must smell like the backside of ass. But anyway, I yell at him. I'm like, and look at you and your stupid little shoes and no socks. What's wrong with you? You're going to catch a death of cold. Like just something just completely like just wildly absurd. And that's what set him off. Like that was what just like made him like try and come after me as he's like getting into his Uber and his girlfriend's holding him back. You're like, no, honey, it's not worth it. And I was just standing there being like, I haven't been into a fight in a long time. I wonder how this is going to go. Like, am I going to get my ass kicked or am I going to do good? And I was just thinking like, I'm not fighting to play fair. I'm fighting to win. I'm going to punch this guy in the dick the second he gets close to me. I fight fair. No, I'm going to punch you in the dick, pull your hair and throw sand in your eyes. Like, I'm here to win, baby. This isn't fight fair. What are we going to duke it out like it's the 1950s? Yeah, dude, fuck no.
Speaking of the 1950s, I have something really cool to share. Okay, so everybody knows, if you watch the show, that we have a fondness for physical media, right? Records, tapes, VHSs, cassettes, everything, CDs.
Oh, remind me, I gotta show you the record I found.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to show you a record that I found, okay? I was going through this little thrift store. It's the same place that I found the typewriter at, which I'll show in a minute.
Yeah.
But this is called Environments. All right, so let me read it to you. New Concepts in Stereo Sound. This is disc 2. I couldn't find disc 1. Do you remember on one of our other podcasts we talked about that camp that we went to?
Oh, yeah, our Jesus camp.
Yeah, Deer Park Camp. Do you remember where?
It was in Deer Park, Pennsylvania. Or Delaware,
No.
wasn't it?
It was in Pennsylvania, but the place that it was called is called New Hope. Okay, so this record has 2 environmental recordings on it. One is called Tintinnabulation, and it's computer synthesized environments. And then the other side is called Dawn at New Hope, Pennsylvania.
Really?
So let me read you the thing. And I thought this was really interesting because if I could take technology that I have now back to my youth, I would take a sound recorder back to camp and like during sunset or sunrise, I would just let the sound recorder go.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would record the environment so I could take that with me, because even though it was a Jesus camp, in the morning or late or in the evening, there was a sense of peace there. It was so quiet.
You'd be recording and people are going to think you're ghost hunting for Jesus.
It always brought me a sense of peace. Even thinking back to that camp, it was very peaceful, right? So finding this record is crazy to me because they literally recorded Dawn at New Hope, Pennsylvania, where I used to go to camp. So that's crazy. And I remember how beautiful it used to be too. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, the word I always think of when I think of like the scenery, the panoramic of like, especially there, I remember like the backside of the camp is bucolic. Bucolic is the word, which is like a beautiful environment.
Okay, well, let me read you the little blurb. So this was recorded in June of 1969. The dawn sounds superbly preserved on this disc are sounds which are gradually vanishing from the North American countryside. Totally different in mood and concept from the sounds of disc 1 of this series, Dawn at New Hope recreates the aural environment of a beautiful morning in late spring, complete with owls, crows, doves, insects, dogs, and geese. Our objective was not to make an artificially beautiful recording, but a real sound which seems to get better each time you listen to it. So many people had written us asking for this specific environmental sound that we felt obligated to give them the finest recording of a North American dawn ever made, in full stereo. On a good high-fidelity system, the sounds produced are so realistic that most people soon forget they're listening to a phonograph record. The usefulness of the recording is a subtle thing, as you could see by a sampling of our listening tests printed above. Unlike the opaque sounds of Disc 1, Dawn at New Hope is a transparent sound which does not neutralize other environmental sounds, thus conversations are gentle in tone, and the sound seems to appear and disappear, depending on your activities of the moment. We hope that you'll enjoy Dawn at New Hope as much as our staff and the participants of our listening test. So here's some listening test responses that they have on the back here.
Okay. I'm assuming you've listened to it, right?
I haven't listened to it yet. I'm gonna
so
put it on.
curious.
I'm going to put it on after, and I'm going to put it on the YouTube channel. So if y'all want to hear this, I'm going to post it. Okay, so the first test response person said, I could swear I smell new cut grass. Really great in earphones. Dawn makes getting out of bed in the morning a lot easier. And then someone else said, it's like a warm spring morning with the dew still on the grass. I tend to be more at ease and less tense. Helps your mood along in what you are doing. I find I miss the sound. Conversation is easier and brighter. Everyone loves dawn. With it, I'm out in the open on a fine day, enjoying the air. The realism of this recording is truly exceptional, unbelievably natural, makes most music seem slick and nervous by comparison. One rather melancholy thought kept striking me.
I like describing that. I like using the description of slick and nervous. Sorry, go on.
Oh, I like that too for music, yes. Well, when all the birds are dead of... Oh my God, what? One rather melancholy thought kept striking me. Well, when all the birds are dead of pollution and when the cities have swallowed the last lovely green woods in the population explosion, we can have earphones in our gas masks and listen to the world when it was still young and fresh.
Let's find this guy and interview
Yeah, that
him.
guy's cynical as fuck.
Does it give a name? Does it say who said that?
No, it does not, unfortunately. But yeah, so this was a crazy...
This is how I know that time machines exist. Is because I 100% wrote that in the 70s. There is no doubt that came from my pen. Oh my, dude, that guy's fucking, because you know what I'm not joking. You know what I was actually thinking as you were reading that? One, that's fucking cool as hell. But I was actually thinking, man, I wonder how many of the animals you hear in that we've driven to extinction via climate change.
I mean, he's on the right track.
Swear to God, that was my thought as you were reading what the creator had written. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, no, that's really fun. I bet you it's really relaxing. Is there one, check on the other side of the album real quick. Look on the back of it. Is there one review that says it's really beautiful until about minute 17 where I think I hear a 12-year-old boy scream somewhere in the background lightly, I touched a boob.
And that
it's the best day of my life, man. All right, I gotta get to. We have a ton of just amazing thrift shops in Casey. Casey's a really weird area. The city's very metropolitan, but you get out of the city and it gets kind of country real quick. So you get this like really weird influx of like tons of old like country and Christian gospels type music. But then when you get out like the country ones, this sounds really fucked up. My personal theory is that the ones that are in the country, like the thrift shops, that when you get out of the metro, especially in like some of the more like sketchier areas, like Independence, Missouri, which is like there's like a town or two away, and it's like a 15-minute drive from me. But at one point, Rolling Stone had named it the meth capital of the United States. So it's just a really interesting town. It's also where President Harry S. Truman came from. So there's a ton of really interesting thrift shops where you can kind of tell at times that people just threw shit in bags and like tossed it at the thrift store because they had to get evicted. Grandma died. They didn't want to deal with their shit, or whatever reason. They just needed to get rid of those things as quickly as possible. Because you find dude, I found gems. Like I found like some really cool and valuable stuff. But anyway, so recently I found a nice little Pete Townsend album for $1.
Nice.
But the real find is called Tattooed Beats Mazat, Zodiac Mind Warp, and the Love Reaction.
Whoa. That looks interesting.
It is beyond Fantastic. I'm going to read to you the back blurb real quick because it's important that we are on the same page here. So their song titles, first off, are just A+. Wolfchild Speech, Prime Mover, Soul Spark, Joker, Backseat Education, Bad Girl City, Untamed Stare, Let's Break the Law, Spasm Gang, Driving Unholy Gasoline. Like, it's A+ stuff. But anyway, and what's even better is this is a promo. Like, someone didn't buy this. This was just a promo that someone got by working like a record station or something. There's just a big Z inside of a crucifix here, which I don't know if you know, but this is very similar to what in the Third World War the Trump army will be using as they invade Canada.
Kind of like a swastika, but not really.
It's swastika-like, you know? It gives all the nice feelings of a swastika without being explicitly hateful and full of bigotry and ignorance and horribleness that a real swastika gives you. Because sometimes I look at a swastika and I like some of the things. No, I don't. But only if it wasn't so many right angles. You know, you're just like, if we can get about half of the right angles would make me fall in line with that fascism.
Too many 90 degrees.
And
cranking
then
90s.
Look, right there. Boom. Half the angle's gone. That nice little snazzy Z. It looks like it's come. Dude, someone's going to get into a trademark lawsuit with the Messiah gang because that is an A+. Like, I'm an ignorant fuckface and I want to just be violent because killing someone makes me a hero because I don't realize that in order to be a hero, people have to suffer first because heroism can only exist with suffering. Because the idea of heroism in my mind is to shoot somebody. When in reality, I like to praise heroes who do things like, help people, be kind, feed children, help the sick, help the invalid, help the unhoused, help the meek, help all those people who I don't help by shooting them. This is the patch that is me. But anyway, even what's written on the back sounds like one of those dipshits who completely misunderstands Greek mythology because doesn't realize it's like a lot of butt sex and way less like Sparta
Read it.
than they thought. So, okay, are you ready? I have to read it in like a voice. As decreed by the celestial hierarchy, we shall walk in silence, clad in suits of hermetic invisibility. Thief ascendants of the spangled staircase. We hold no secret to ransom and build no towers. We wear scars on our souls, like medals pagan, fallible, and beautiful. The ally behind our eyes aids and evades the metaphysical gymnastics of the Shakespeare monkey star-studded bulletproof halos, tipped at rakish angles, nimbus warriors riding steel dragons, twilights flickering, mercenaries draped in jewels, and automatic poetry search and destroy napalm for the infernal machines and the Tyrannosaurus logic.
What the fuck?
Tomorrow belongs to the love reaction. Dude, that actually really sounds like what they would scream going into battle, too, because it's super incoherent and holds no ideology beyond just being a whole bunch of words that sound good together.
Yeah, it sounds like he was coked up at a bar and wrote it on a napkin.
Actually, dude, I wonder... Wait, hold on. Let's take a look at the record, because I feel like let's see if there's any, like, extra baggies inside of here first, because I feel like this is definitely where someone, like, hid cocaine at some point.
Stashed. But did you listen to it?
What if I went like, it would be such a good bit if I had preloaded this with like baking powder and was like, fuck, and it just douched out in my head. That would be the funniest shit ever. That would have been so good. So there is no cocaine on it, but it does look like there definitely should be cocaine on it. So yeah, the tattooed Messiah Zodiac mind warp and the love reaction fucking rock balls. Honestly, we listened to it for like 15 minutes and I was like, nah.
What is it, like rock? Was it like electronic rock? What is it? 80s? 90s?
It's super
70s?
It's super 80s cheese. Like it's very this would be one of those bands that's somehow still touring, but they're the third bill below like Poison. Like they're touring, but like things haven't gone well. Like the bus is not so much the way they get concert to concert as in they bring their group house to different venues. You know what I'm saying? Like they're living out of the bus full time. They don't own
All right.
homes or rent apartments. They're itinerant. But no, like it does kind of rock, but it rocks in that way that you don't want to like I would never put it on now and be like, I'm gonna fucking listen to some Zodiac Mind Warp and the Love Reaction and rock my fucking balls out in the house. But if you were like, I don't know, it's 2:30 in the morning, you and your friends just stumbled in your house and you really want to piss off your neighbors inadvertently, you're like, let's listen to some Zodiac Mind Warp and the Love Reaction and just turn that bitch up full blast and have the most fun of your life.
You ready? I got something very special.
Hey, does your t-shirt only say be kind or does it say be kind rewind out of curiosity?
I went to a thrift store, not in the city. It's by the mountains. I don't want to give away where it is because it's a treasure trove.
Never give up the honeypot ever. Once you find like a really good hidden thrift shop, it is fucking A+.
Yeah, so I'm gonna gatekeep that shit. But here is something I found. You see it? That is an automat splicer. So it's for 8mm film. So if you have 8mm film, this will actually help you splice it and tape it because that's how you used to edit movies back in the day.
So, you know what's really funny? I actually know how to use one of those from when I was in high school. When I worked at the video store, it wasn't the exact same model. I could use one of those because we had one of those. But we actually had the splicers because like when films would get fucked up, you could splice out just enough and reattach them so that you didn't lose the VHS tape. But you would have like a little in the action in the movie from where we cut out the bad scene and retaped it.
Yeah, it's like when you watch Fight Club and he's splicing the movies like on the fly.
Yeah.
And he's like putting frames of movies into that thing. But okay, so I've never done it physically before, but I thought it was really cool. It actually came with this box here. Hold on. So can you see the box?
I can. What's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box? Speaking of
what's in the box?
Brad Pitt. All right, so I saw this sitting on the floor. We were about to leave the thrift. It's like an antique store, thrift store. But I saw this sitting on the floor. It was like by an antique couch or whatever, but it had that splicer on top of it and this like empty roll of 8mm film. There's nothing in here. It's just an empty reel. But I saw this box and I was like, whoa, what's in that box? So I popped it open. And
was that
there's
all fucking movies?
Yeah, it's about 10 rolls of 8mm home movies from between 55 and I want to say 62.
I have never been more excited in so many ways. Dude,
okay.
First up, I have so many thoughts. I am so excited for you because one, I super hope that this is the kickoff to some National Treasure inspired fucking shenanigans like escapades for you and Leo. Because I guarantee you that there's something weird in there. Have you checked each one of those containers for any type of safety deposit box key or clues? Think of this like a giant escape room. This is your time to shine, you fucking escape room weirdos. Come on in. What's in here? Or are you going to find something like very like the beginning of the movie The Game, where it's like grandpa's throwing himself off the roof because he can't take it anymore and someone catches on an old-timey camera. You know, shit like that.
Well, so here's the thing. I don't know whose they are. I'm going to do this on camera in a minute, but here's another one that's part of this collection of reels. Ready? And the person who did this meticulously labeled every one. They put the date. But as you could see, all the film is in really good condition. Well, here's the thing. So I want to find the person who owns these. Have you
looked at it?
So here's the thing. I rented a machine 2 weeks ago, and I've been painstakingly digitizing all 11 reels of this found 8mm footage.
I am so excited.
It's on my hard drive. This found footage is from probably like 1955, maybe a little earlier until maybe 1960.
What if you found like the Zapruder film, like the missing piece to the Kennedy assassination, or where Lee Harvey Oswald, or where Jimmy Hoffa got buried? I am so excited.
No, but there is some interesting things. So I've got Disneyland from
back when they only allowed white people. Go on.
1956. Yeah, I didn't see one black person in any of this footage, but back from 1957, 2 years after Disneyland opened. So Disneyland is still fresh and new on this footage. Whoever took this film was pretty good cinematographer. What do you call him? Like
it's a young Marty Scorsese. Dude, what if you live in LA? What if these are like the lost Spielberg, like fucking childhood movies?
No, they're not.
Don't ruin my dreams.
I feel like I know a lot of the people already because I've been watching them go through the machine because each reel takes about 3 hours to import.
You are 100% A, describing how your house is now going to become haunted. B, you are describing the exact plot to like you being possessed in some really bad horror movie. C, you are completely down some like weird path where you're going to invent a fake family for yourself and start like buying them presents and like naming your cats by their names and shit like that. And I'm here for you for all those things, just so you know.
Whoever got a video camera did a really good job of editing like on the fly because you couldn't really sit here and edit. Like nobody's going to sit and edit their own 8mm home movies, but he did do a good job of like editing in the moment. Some of them have like title cards at the beginning, which was really impressive. Everything's nice and labeled. The film's in really good condition.
Is the title card like Marge spends the day at the beach?
Yes,
love it. Love it. I hope all the names are like those old timey names, like Gladys goes to the store.
Yeah, some of them are.
Henry sees a black person on the street.
So there's a couple of cool things on here. So I've got Disneyland, right? We've got Vegas back then as well.
Ooh.
We've got the guy was really into horse racing. So there's a lot of horse racing footage.
I'm gonna tell you, when you first said horse racing there, I don't know why my brain, because it's what you've said for some of the titles. I think you're gonna stop at whores.
No, horses. The guy was a family man. I think he was a cop. Seemed really happy. He recorded about 3 Christmases worth of stuff. What else we got?
Know why. I'm kind of disappointed that the family was happy because I was going to actually ask if there was like some like footage of like dad sitting around like resentfully on Christmas morning as the kids open present with like a scotch in his hand at 8 a.m. smoking a fucking Parliament, being like, "Hope you enjoy the gun, kid. I got one from my dad when I was 8. I figured you're old enough at 7."
I think the dad was the one who was mostly recording everything, but
so is it more like mom's just crying in the kitchen as her dreams aren't realized type footage? Because
they're really happy, bro. They're really happy. It's amazing to see.
I don't know what happy households look like as a child, so you're gonna have to describe it to me.
So again, some cool things. I got Disneyland 1957. I've got Reno. I've got them vacationing, camping, fishing. I've got them.
What if it's him popping out from like besides like the moon landing and he's like, "Oh shit."
I've got Vegas, the Vegas Strip back in the 50s. Them driving to and from Vegas from California. And these people are from California. I'm going to put all the information in the YouTube. I'm going to post all these so everybody could watch them. But I need help finding them. So I'm going to put all the locations I know of. They like to hang out on horse farms. They, what else do they do? There's some really interesting footage too. So I learned about Chavez Ravine. Do you know about Chavez Ravine in California?
So Chavez Ravine, very interesting history. It's where they displaced an entire Latino community in order to bulldoze it to build Dodger Stadium. Well, basically bullshitting that community into accepting it and then forcibly removing them.
Yes, exactly. So I didn't know anything about the Chavez Ravine.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
but I did a lot of research because one of these reels is the Chavez Ravine right after they fucking bulldozed it.
Really?
So in between when they displaced all those people and Dodger Stadium was built, he's got footage of the Chavez Ravine completely bulldozed and cleared out.
Okay, so if you're looking for these people, we have a couple clues. So we know for first off, so here let's go through them one by one.
Okay, here.
So you have here. Let me go. Hold on. So you know it's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
You know that they like horse farms.
Yep.
And you know that they like bulldozing the homes of minorities. So we know that they're white people.
Yeah, they're definitely white, but they were not the ones to bulldoze the Chavez Ravine. He got footage because I feel like he knew it was a historical moment.
Because he was into it. No, actually, no. The Chavez Ravine, no, it was actually a really big deal because that was the first time also, because the reason why that happened, obviously, was so the Dodgers could move from Brooklyn to L.A., which brought baseball past St. Louis for the first time and expanded baseball into like a true national pastime.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know a lot of really weird shit.
Well, you're a big baseball fan too, but we know
I do like the balls.
We know that they frequented the Falk Ranch. They vacationed in San Francisco a lot. A couple locations were Granada Hills, Northridge, because they were at Northridge Farms. They were.
What if it turns out the dad was like the Golden State Killer, and this is just shit like the family really wanted to get rid of, and just be like, no, we're good.
I don't know, but I'd like to. I don't think so, but I'd like to find who. I would like to return these to the children of the grandchildren of the man that I saw, because I think by now all the kids in the footage are probably, what are they? They're older than me. They're probably in their 60s or 70s, maybe.
Do you have any footage where you can see street addresses?
No, there's some like I don't know. I'll let the viewers try to figure it out because it's a lot. But I feel like because it's in LA County and kind of like right outside of it too, I feel like someone should know who this is. There's lots of clear footage of the people's faces, their house, like all types of stuff like that. So I'm really hoping that people can identify who these people are. But here I have a little bit here that I want to play.
Does it basically look like the intro to the Wonder Years? Can we put like Rage Against the Machine over parts of it? And like I really want to have fun with this, just so you know.
You could do whatever you want with it. It's my footage. So yeah, YouTube. Did you hear that? This is my footage. I own it. So
hey,
you can't do shit. So this is the reel that I have. This is Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 1955.
When Halloween costumes were inadvertently terrifying.
Dude, that's what I'm going to show you right now. Okay, ready?
Like you're Daffy Duck if Daffy Duck was terrifying and a monster from hell.
I even put chapter markers on these too. So, okay, here.
Damn, son.
This is called Halloween at Greenie's. Okay, 1955, and obviously no sound. Guy's got a paper bag over his head. She's what a hippie. This guy came in drag, and look, they drinking out a red Solo cup still. Hobo probably. There's a cowboy. Yeah, this guy did a really great job of editing, and the footage is in almost perfect condition.
So here's the thing. Is like, honestly, what I want to put to this, like, this looks like a swingers party to me. Like, this looks like everyone's putting their keys in a fishbowl, and we're going to see how this night goes.
Is that Darth Vader? No, that's not Darth Vader. That can't be. He's an evil monkey.
Imagine how impressive it was or how easy it was to like be like impressive in like the life of the party at like this juncture in history. Like, literally all you had to do was drink 4 martinis, put a lampshade on your head, and like call it a day. You didn't have to be witty or smart. You're just like, lampshade on my head, guy.
Well, so
and
this
now
guy
I have to like know things.
This guy right here,
that looks like Lee Harvey Oswald. I'm sorry.
This guy right here, let me go back a little bit. He, I believe, is the dad. I think he owns the video camera. This is his family. And he's dressed up as a prisoner, and I think it's ironic because he's a police officer. I've seen him in uniform twice in all these footages.
Maybe the police officer's the costume and the criminal's the reality. He
But
looks like a Foot Locker employee who also works part-time at a Shake Shack or a
so
Waffle House. He looks like a Waffle House cook.
so I believe that's the dad or the great grandfather or grandfather. I don't know, but this is his family. Um, I don't know. I don't know who that is, but he's dressed up as drag. And okay, one thing I can also say, did you see that?
Dude, you know what's funny? Drag at one point in like comedic history was considered the end all be all of funny. Like putting a guy in a dress, like, you didn't even have to do work for it. All you had to do was like guy in dress, and people would fall out of their seats laughing.
Did you did you see this though? He pulls the fake boob
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Oh, he absolutely adored his dogs. He has so much footage of his dogs running around and playing. And like it's dogs, family, horse racing, vacations. That's basically what
So like
all this footage is.
you have kids, so I'm gonna guess that your ratio is a little bit different from mine. But dude, my phone, 80% of my pictures are my dog.
They did the mash. They did
They
the
did the
monster
Monster
mash.
Mash.
The monster mash. I feel like that's what they're dancing to.
Freaky Friday, werewolf bar mitzvah. Sorry, it's a Tracy Morgan 30 Rock thing that lives in my head rent free constantly. Whenever I hear Monster Mash, all I think is werewolf bar mitzvah. Look how easy yet flammable everything looked in the 50s. Like they didn't like. I mean, sure, you got a cigarette next to those decorations or those drapes. They were going up like a fucking bonfire. God, it looks like so much less pressure in the home. They were just like, hey, you know what? Look, this is made out of wood. It's going to last a fucking lifetime. Go throw it in the living room, put some books on it. We're going to call it a fucking day. I don't care how it looks. Just it works.
I get just so enthralled in this stuff.
You know, I despise like how people do that whole like it was better in the fit. We didn't lock our doors. I think it's like just the stupidest fucking societal argument for anything out there. But I think the fucking 50s would have been. You didn't have to try. You could be like the most mediocre dude, and you were still gonna get a house, a car, fucking friends, fucking retirement. Vacation, drive across, you hop on Route 66 with the kids in your fucking station wagon and drive for 3 weeks across the country just to hit the Pacific Ocean and turn around and haul it back ass to your shithole town. And like, I think all of that sounds great until you consider like the everything else about the 50s where like my wife couldn't have an opinion, my son couldn't come out of the closet because society wouldn't accept him. You know,
systemic
racism, systemic oppression, repressed sexuality, just everything being just fucking terrible unless you were just completely mediocre. But it looks great.
Yeah.
Like it really does. It looks so
check
easy.
This out.
Like you didn't have to try.
This kid with the most simplest toy, he's got let me rewind it a little bit. It's an airplane on a string. And look, they literally had to go in and oil the motor.
Dude,
like that was toys back then.
So I'm gonna tell you something. I had an airplane on a string like that when I was a kid. I got it given to me as a gift, and I was so excited because I always wanted I'm such a bad person. So I'd always wanted a remote control airplane. It was like my dream toy as a kid. But we didn't have a lot of money, so unfortunately toys like that were just way out of reach. So one year I opened this box and we didn't even know each other yet. I was like a really little kid. And I opened this box and I was like, sweet, a remote control. You do love me. And then I took it out of the box. I was like, why is it on a string? and I remember taking it outside and being like, and as I whipped it into a tree because it was the stupidest fucking toy I've ever played with. It was
like in the 50s, that was like top of the line.
In the 50s, it was amazing. Dude, if it wasn't, like, it's made out of plastic, space-aged polymers. It's what the astronauts use. It was fucking A+. It wasn't made out of wood. Your toys are what we tell kids now not to play with. It's like, hey kid, here's some wood, some screws and some surgical tubing. Go make a slingshot. Those aren't things you give a child. Dude, BB guns, which you had BB guns, but like the BB guns that we had weren't the BB guns like kids, like when kids in the 50s had BB guns, like they basically had like low cal rifles, like they could like kill squirrels. We could like somewhat hurt each other.
I think there was footage
Gug?
of a kid with
In the 50s, there's 100% footage of a kid with a gun being like, while like looking at the gun like this, like, it's the 50s. Didn't know any better.
Yeah, there is one footage where they're playing outside more. The kid has a truck and the other kid has a gun, definitely. But look at that fucking turkey, man.
That turkey looks delicious.
That's some Betty Crocker recipe type shit.
Dude, even cooking in the 50s, man, dude, I have an old, it would be a great accompaniment to this piece, is I have an old, big, thick gourmet magazine collection. I think it's like the late 60s. And like culinary stuff for like a really long time was like just basically bake it, boil it, and throw it on a plate. Like it wasn't hard to be impressive. It's so hard to be. I struggle with it every day, man. Every day, it's just harder and harder to be impressive for me. Look at that car, dude. I want that car. Those cars look so fucking good. Our cars look like shit today.
Yep, they do.
That car can seat 12 people comfortably. If you open the trunk, it opens backwards and there's a bench so the kids can sit and watch the fucking traffic shoot at them behind.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, look.
Ruth, dude, these are fantastic.
So good, right?
Dude, this, I also want to put like Unsolved Mysteries voiceover on this.
I do. I make voices for the people. I'm like, all right, folks, all right, everybody cross the street. All right, you too. All right. Okay, guys. Oh, how you doing, Judy? Oh, I'm great. Thanks, Dorothy. I'm going to get a sip of my Coca-Cola. All right.
Dude, look at the size of her hat. Ooh, they went to Santa's stable.
All right. So if anybody, I'm going to post these on the YouTube. If anybody has any clue as to who these people are, you can message me. I will give you some more information or just watch them because I gathered all the information just from watching them. Found footage, hashtag found footage of people, because I know there are communities out there of people who love found footage and trying to reunite the owners or grandkids, grandkids, whatever. But yeah, I took the time to digitize everything. It took me 2.5 weeks. Each reel is about 25 minutes long, and it took 3 hours to import just one reel. So, and I painstakingly put chapter markers in all of them. It's in high def. So yeah, I'm going to post them all. I'm going to put hashtags in that. It'll be under the, episode extras. I think I have a playlist on the YouTube. So yeah, go there. Check it out. Let me know.
Dude, I'm so excited for this footage in so many ways because I have so many hopes for it, Like there's part of me that really hopes that, maybe we find a missing child.
Right? There's so much that could have happened. Like there's footage of, and the guy took great footage. Like maybe someone's grandfather's horse was racing in one of those races. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I take back everything I said about the 50s. It sounds terrible. It just sounds easy. The rest of it just sounds fucking atrocious. Could you imagine having to we have to deal with like all those like horrible things. And the people who actually have to deal with these things, it's way worse. Like way worse. Like people have to actually deal with racism, with people being racism, sexism, any type of ism, homophobia, all those horrible things. But like in the 50s, it wasn't even like you could say, hey, I don't agree with you. Like I really think that people should be able to love each other, and I think that all people, regardless of skin color, religion, or anything else, should be afforded equal general rights. People were just like, yeah, Dave at work dropped the hard R today, honey, and Marge is like, oh, and what did you say? Nothing. So actually, I take it back, dude. It's entirely like today.
Yeah.
It was just like casual awfulness all the time that I think people just misinterpret for like, oh, well, like things were cheap and like there was like housing, so things were so much better for us.
For our parents.
Yeah, the 50s is so terrible. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like I think every generation goes, and I despise generational things. I don't like when people are like, millennials or Gen Z or whatever else. I find it to be, I find it to be like a lowest common denominator to pat yourself on the back for being born at a generalized fucking moment in time. Like, I don't think there's different things, like language evolves, entertainment evolves. There's like anyone who's like our parents' generation wants like badmouth kids saying Riz or Skibbity. Y'all were fucking eating goldfish as like a thing. Like that was Dave ate a goldfish and punched a fraternity and you were eating fish. Like actually, like it was entertainment. You were, hey guys, let's go see how many of us we can fit in a telephone booth. You don't make fun of people for generational shit. Just don't do it because you did stupid shit. Like we all did. Like we did really stupid shit. Our fashion was fucking terrible. Like it's like, oh, I wore flannels. No, we didn't. We wore fucking big dog shirts and co-ed naked lacrosse hats.
Big dog shirts.
Big dog. Big dog
God.
gonna lead from front. Like, I don't know, I hate when people go into like these generational fucking Gen Z's this. No, it's not. It's just you. Like things were better because it was easy. Like we didn't grow up in the best time. We grew up in the time when shit was easy because I was fucking 12. I hate when people are like, it was so much better when it was better because it was easier. No, things are fucking bullshit now. Like now it's just like we've moved like the bullshit timeline. But no, dude, something happened. Like we timelined at some point.
Yeah, you
like
know when Doc Brown is trying to explain to Marty McFly how the timeline skewed into this other existence in the garage in Back to the Future Part 2. That's where we are right now.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it had something to do with when we elected a black guy president. Because that's what fucking broke a lot of people.
Yeah, like, but now we literally have Biff Tannen as our president.
I know. Dude, I'm so happy to experience another fucking financial crisis in my life because I feel like the third one's going to be the one that I really benefit from. You know, I've been through. I feel like I've gotten good at it. Cause like when I was a kid, we had remember the recession in the 90s when I didn't really know what a recession was. Like I knew it was bad, and then that ended.
The internet bubble. The internet bubble.
Love. God, the internet bubble popping, dude.
Was it Priceline.com? Oh man.
Pets.com was the big one. But like, yeah, that happened. Then like the really big one, the 2008 financial collapse.
Yep.
That one, I learned so much from that about what I can afford to eat and still be alive. I really feel like this upcoming one's going to be kind of like the sweet spot for me. Like, I feel like this is going to be
hopefully.
Dude, I can't wait to like be part of the resistance. I'm so excited because you know what it is? I'm a really petty and spiteful bitch. Like those cartoons, we'll put some of the other ones that have like the more political side to them that I've sent you. Like I 100% like, yeah, should fill a fucking Christmas tree ornament with paint and glitter and go huck it at a Tesla for fun. Like I'm not going to throw Molotov cocktails. I'm going to do shit that's going to piss you off. I'm not going to burn your house down. But like you're going to be really infuriated at me. It's kind of my skill set.
Well, I had a blast with you today. Not infuriated, but
always, my friend.
Do have to wrap it up.
My phone has like 1 bar left right now.
Awesome. It's a pleasure. Thanks for letting me talk about my cool new stuff that I found.
Dude, love it.
Thanks for sharing.
I'm so beyond excited for messing with that footage and just seeing what type of like weird, because dude, that Halloween party, it looks like a David Lynch movie. It looks like there's going to be like some guy just like randomly crouched in the corner who's like, and just, yeah, I'm fucking there for it. I love it.
Well, what's cool about it too is like a lot of it's really normal and kind of boring. But if you really watch it, it's like, wow, someone edited this on the fly. They took really like a lot of the shots that the guy took were really, really well constructed. They were dead. A lot of it was really steady. I didn't have to fix a lot of it.
He's a man who was stuck in something else and didn't find his calling. There's a story here.
I mean, he knew how to work his toys. You know, it's a 8mm camera back in the day. He knew how to work it.
What if like we find the family like, oh yeah, that's Uncle Carl. We don't talk about Uncle Carl. I would love to know his name.
I looked everywhere for clues, but if
like we burned the other films.
It's funny too because like he'll just be recording normal everyday stuff like the dogs running around, but then one of the dogs just starts to take a shit, and then he just like stops recording because like, oh god
That's
damn it,
hysterical.
like you could see the imperfections in it, and it makes it really real because you could watch it from like a standpoint of, oh, I'm not connected to this at all, but if you watch them all, you start to like learn who people are, and you're like, oh, that's his wife, oh, that's got to be the brother, like there's his
That's the
daughters
funny
and
one.
his son. Yeah, like it's cool, it's really cool. I'll make a playlist of it, I'll put the reels in order, I'll try to put as much dates as I can up there, but yeah, check it out, everybody.
Love you, baby.
Love you too.